And we're going to talk a bit today about what to wear and what to bring on a day's hiking, but specifically a winter's day hiking where a little bit more gear is required. So if we start, first of all, we'll start with the gear that we wear. We'll start at our feet, we look at the boots. What boots should we wear? What's the best for each condition? So the winter obviously in Ireland is wet, but what you put on your feet will depend largely on the terrain that you're going to go up in. So I wear, if I'm going up on a boggy area with peat, that's wet, that's dirty, mucky and so on, I like to wear a good, decent leather waterproof boot. Now I've had these Scarpas, I've had them for a long, long time. There's a good vibrant sole, plenty of grip, you won't slip. If you look after them, keep polish on them, keep dubbing on them and so on, they will last you for years. They'll keep your feet dry. They're perfect. Okay, so that's what we will wear if we're going up the top of some really marshy, boggy area, Lugnaquilla, somewhere like that. A good leather boot is what you need. Now, if we're going up on, say, forest trails, terrain that's reasonably dry, well then a lighter boot, you'll get away with a lighter boot. And I tend to wear, for me it suits, is a Gore-Tex Berghaus boot. I think this is my 4th or 5th pair because they just suit me. But any light kind of Gore-Tex boot will suit, provided you're reasonably sure you're not going to end up to your shins in muck and peat and all the rest of it, because your feet will get wet. But if you think it's reasonably dry terrain, this is what you should wear, because they are light. Obviously you wear a decent pair of hiking socks on with your boots. So then we look at trousers. Now funny enough, I hike in my shorts pretty much all year round, but if it's really cold in winter, I like a light pair of trousers like this. Personally, I like a zip here because I can take off the bottoms and have shorts if the sun comes out and if it's pleasant. But a nice pair of light hiking trousers. They don't need to be too heavy, because if there's adverse weather conditions, I do have waterproofs with me. So nice pair of hiking trousers. Then I will have a base layer on top. T-shirt, long sleeve. It's your own personal preference, but never wear cotton. That's the most important thing. With the trousers, with the t-shirt, don't go up the hills in a pair of denims, because if they get wet, they will not dry. They'll get cold, you'll get cold, it's a disaster. The very same with your t-shirt. Don't wear a cotton t-shirt. All the new high-tech polys that are out now, one of those t-shirts will do. They dry quickly, they wick the moisture away from your body. So a base layer, then I would have a long sleeve, a light micro fleece. That will keep me warm, and that was what I would call my mid layer. Okay, so you got a base layer, you got a mid layer, and then oftentimes if the weather's pleasant enough, you can actually just start out hiking with this. You don't need anything else. So I would wear that. I would also have then, I'll be either wearing it or in my ruck, a padded jacket, a little down jacket. Now these can vary in price. They can go, you can pay anything, but it doesn't have to be Canadian Goose. This is a nice little one I got in Decathlon, and I think it was about 30 euros. Does the job fabulously well. I've been up in the Alps, I've been in the Pyrenees with it. Perfect job. So I have a base layer, micro fleece, and then a nice little down jacket. Okay, but for the time being we keep the down jacket wrapped up because we're going to pack it in our rucksack. So it's winter, we're never really sure what the weather's going to do. What if it gets wet? So if it gets wet, I have a good decent Gore-Tex jacket, fully waterproof. So what I will do with that is I'd have my mid layer, the padded jacket, throw the Gore-Tex on over it, and you're dry as a bone and you're warm. Job done. As well, we started out in a reasonable pair of light hiking trousers. So waterproof trousers are a good idea. If it's spilling rain, you can put these on and you're covered. So that takes care of a lot of the gear. What I have here is gaiters to cover the boots, keeps the bottom of your trousers dry. A good idea. Again, you can spend all sorts of money, but on average 25 euros should get you a reasonably good pair of gaiters, and they're a good piece of kit. So where do we go now? A cowl. A cowl for around your neck. Now in the winter time, a cowl is a wonderful piece of kit. Scarves are long, dangly, they get tangled up. Cowl will sit around your neck, keep you nice and snug. If you've got driving rain, driving sleet, pull it up, protect your face. Really good piece of kit. So I always have a cowl with me. I always have a hat and have gloves. Good decent hat, can't beat it. And gloves also. I tend to bring 2 of each for the simple reason that hats get blown away, or someone in your group might have forgotten their hat. It's always handy to have a spare one, doesn't take up a lot of space. The same with gloves. Gloves, if you're in steep terrain and you're using your hands or whatever, gloves can get wet. Wet gloves, wet hands, cold hands, again, that's a disaster. So I always keep a spare pair. As well as that, it is useful. Someone in the group may have forgotten gloves. Someone in the group may have cold hands, need a dry pair. So I always bring 2 pairs. So that's the gear for the moment, what we're going to wear. So what else do we put in our rucksack? Well, when you're hiking, climbing in winter, you've got to be prepared for every eventuality. So what I tend to have, I'll have simple first aid kit. Again, you don't have to spend a fortune on this. All you want is the basics in there. What's going to happen if you're up on the mountain? You can twist your ankle, you can scratch yourself, small cuts. A bit of gear to cover those eventualities. So you keep your simple first aid kit. I would also have, just in case things get really serious and you get stuck on the mountain, a very light, wonderful piece of kit again, little tin foil blankets. You'd be amazed how warm they can keep you, because when you stop moving, if you're injured and you stop moving, you sit down, you'll get cold, so you need to protect yourself. A bivvy bag, another piece of essential kit. You can crawl into that and that'll keep you warm for hours on end. So I would always have those. I just happen to see here I have the little hand warmers. They are brilliant. If you have bad circulation and your hands are freezing cold, take one of these out, pop it into your gloves, works wonders. And again, if it's even not for you, for someone else in your group who has cold hands, these can be a lifesaver. So that there is our basic health and safety kit, which I like to keep dry, so I keep it in a polythene bag. Map and compass goes without saying. Map and compass. Not only do you need to bring them, you need to know how to use them. What I often do is, if it's windy and so on, opening up a big map like that can just be cumbersome. Photocopy where you're hiking and have a small little A4 page. Put that in your bag as well. And with the compass, really all you need to know how to take a bearing, how to get from A to B. It's all very simple. There's plenty of little books that'll show you how to do that, and it's invaluable. If the clouds come down, you really need to know where you're going. So when you're packing the rucksack then, it makes sense that the stuff you're going to need should be on the top, because you don't want to be rooting all the way down to the bottom to find something that you need regularly. So what I would do is, I would put things like, if it's a reasonably fine day, chances are you may not need your wet gear. So put your wet gear down in the bottom of the ruck. Okay, so there's the down jacket, the Gore-Tex waterproof, and spare socks, spare hat, spare gloves. Because every chance, if all goes well, I'm not going to need those. Okay, so we put those in. This rucksack here it's a 40-litre rucksack. Again, I don't know, it costs about 60 euros. Doesn't break the bank. 40 litres is adequate, totally adequate. You'll get all you need into that. Again, at the bottom, waterproof trousers. Okay. Hat and gloves. Cowl. And then I have my first aid bits in at the back here, okay? So that's that packed reasonably well done, okay? Last thing, can't forget grub. We all need food, and there's nothing like a cup of tea on the top of a mountain. So I always bring a hot drink in winter, always bring hydration, water. And you can have these, you can locate them in your side pockets, which is handy enough. can easily get them. And yeah, and some food, so whatever you, I won't show you what's in my lunchbox, but you can accompaniment that with light snacks, that type of thing, okay? I also have a headlamp, just in case it gets dark. In winter it can be dark at 4:30, so if you've got your timing wrong or you get lost, you could end up in the dark very quickly, unintentionally. So a headlamp is a really useful piece of kit to have with you. Sunglasses, I'm an optimist. That's a spare compass, and really that's about it. That's my gear for the day for a winter hike. Yeah, the rucksack I said was 40 litres. That's enough. So when you're buying a rucksack, just make sure it's waterproof, basic enough sort of stuff. Make sure it's comfortable, padded straps, belt to go around your waist, because you clip that and that'll support, that'll sit on your hips for you. And also make sure it has a waterproof covering, which you usually find in the bottom of them here. So that's a waterproof covering. So if it spills rain, you throw it over your rucksack. Very simple, and just like that. And that's us. We're ready to go and enjoy a day in the hills. Thank you.